Hello, guys, and thank you, Plaxy, for joining us today and for coming into the book, Reputation Driven. I hope you're well. How you been?
Thank you for having me, Judah. I
Yeah.
am absolutely excited about the book.
Yes, Plaxy. You and I had a chance to speak, and I love your story. And those who haven't read your story, you can read her part of her story in Hospitable Host. She's a best-selling author in that book. Um, and I love your story and how your chapter takes root in different parts of the world. But for those who don't know who you are, just tell a little bit about who you are and how what you do and how you got started.
Right. I was born in Zambia, Central Africa. Come from a family of seven. Mom and dad still alive, and they're still in Lusaka. I moved here to the UK in 1985. Came for college. I met my husband in 1988. Had our first child 1990. Had a couple of other kids. By 1999, my husband had joined Tesco, which is a retail company here, supermarket, and they were expanding internationally. And we decided that we were going to try and, see what's going on out in the world, because my husband was an expat child as well. His father used to work for Mo.
You're There we go. We got you. We got you back. Now you're on mute.
Sorry about
There
that.
you
My
go.
husband, my husband got a job with Tesco. We moved to
You went back out again. Now they wants to start acting up. Now they wants to start acting up. There you go.
There
Yeah.
you go. So my husband was in Poland. Oh, so we went to Poland for 18 months. Then we lived in Czech Republic, Prague, for 4 years.
Hmm.
And our final assignment was in Beijing and China, and we were there for 7 years. So had a lot of fun.
That's a lot of, like I said, a lot of destinations, a lot of chapters that you've been able to root yourself in, different
Mm.
parts of the world, and obviously exposing you to different ideas and different paradigms and different pivots I know that you had to make. So, what made you decide to come into the book, Reputation Driven? Why did you decide to write a chapter for us?
I As a best-selling author with Hospitable Host, I saw your name
Hmm.
and I read your story, and what you were going through, and I thought to myself, oh my God, you inspired me with your strength in
Mm,
you know and
thank you.
after all of the travels, all the stuff that you went through, and I thought to myself, you know what, if you come up with an idea of a book, I'm jumping in. That was literally my first thought, and then you came up with Reputation Driven. I didn't even think twice. I didn't even see what out. I just thought, you know what, I'm doing this. I don't care. And so that's why that was sort of like my initial. And then after having, looking through it, and I went, okay, it is about property. And I went, phew, thank God, you know.
Yeah, and that was kind of, well, that's what I felt too in our initial conversation. I felt it was just genuinely about you were just more interested in the idea of what I have gone through, and you sharing a little bit about your past and your experience. And it was funny because we have a lot of similarities, a lot of interests, and
Mm.
we connected. It was one morning, but you called me one morning, and we were just talking. We were just talking and talking about life, about different things, and it was just so pleasurable. And I really do appreciate the kind words. So for Hospitable Host, obviously that's one book. Reputation Driven is a different book.
It's a different book.
What kind of story are you compelled to share? Like,
well, I think when I really started to think about it, it took me a little bit longer, and I needed to understand in myself what I was bringing to the book, and I started thinking about all the people that I have learned from learning how to be probably one of the best hosts in Beijing. They taught me, how can I put it? They taught me how to care about service. And I remember one coffee morning, one of the ladies, a couple of ladies, they'd said they're leaving Beijing. And I thought, okay. And it was quite a number of ladies. And the conversation went to, why are you leaving? They were retiring. I had one property here in the UK, but I didn't know what to do with it. And so the lady said, you know what, Plaxy, you're going to be an empty nester soon. What are you going to do with yourself? And I thought, I've got one property. I don't know. And so they started to teach me and, sort of like show me what it was about their properties that they managed, how they managed their properties, who they were, what they put in, the kind of clients they had in, the money that they were getting out of it. But it was more about taking care of their tenants. So I jumped into that and I thought, okay, I will do it. I'm a winger, so I'll sort of like hop into something and I'll just go, yeah, if it bites, I'll jump out of it. So I learned from them how to keep, how to hold yourself, how to put yourself forward and be of service to people. And within the property game, when we finally came back to the UK, it really, really resonated. It became important. When I took over the property to, my first tenant, I met them and it was like, wow, this is a real human being. My house has to be safe for them. I have to make sure they're secure and I have to go above and beyond. And that is why I got into the property game, because it really, really is a person to person and it's taking care of another human being and keeping them safe.
Yeah.
So for me, that's my reason to coming into this book, is saying it's not just about your business name. It's about you. What do you need to put you into the property so that, I always say, if your mother-in-law comes to where you live and she approves it, the landlord has done their job.
Yeah, I like that. So at what point did you have to make that pivot in your life? Like when you said, you know what, enough is enough. I have to make the pivot. I have to start chasing my dreams now.
I turned 50. I had looked around. The kids were were saying bye, mommy. And I thought, I haven't got anything for myself. If anything, I wanted to train as a silversmith.
Okay.
And I actually did 1 year of silversmithing in one of the schools in London. And my biggest moment was going to the London Goldsmith Assay Library and seeing these, going through designs of silversmiths, designs from the 1800s, designs for Queen Elizabeth's jewelry. I mean, that was just like amazing. And I thought, yep, I am going to be a silversmith. But then things took a turn within the family, and I had to really turn things around very quickly from a family point of view. We needed a little bit of cash. And so I thought, okay, let me jump into this. I didn't know what I was doing. found a couple of a training school, hopped on. They're the ones who then taught me about different business models within the property environment. And I thought, okay, this is the quickest way for me to actually get financial freedom in order for me to then start doing the things that I really wanted to do. And I've enjoyed this journey. Stripped my first house, bought a house, stripped it to the bare bones, didn't know what I was doing, overspent, but it's actually one of my best properties at the moment, and I got the bud.
Awesome. So how can people get a hold of you? How can people reach out to you if they're interested in learning more about you and what you do?
Right now, we've set up now Extension, which is the new school. We'll be with the book. We're sending out links and opt-in page so that you can register your interest. And Extension is going to be. It's going to go really be broken into the interior side, purchasing side, the customer service side, and also the mindset side, because as you know, this is a very, very lonely business. Yeah. So we need a lot of support. I think the biggest thing is going to be how to build relationships as well with each other so that we can, keep each other safe.
Yeah, so I can drop email or future website address for those who are interested in Sabbath.
Well, you'll be able to get me at Plaxy. It's Plaxy at extension.co.uk.
Okay. And I'll leave that the email address, guys, for you guys in the description who wants to reach out to Plaxy. Plaxy, I really do appreciate it. Again, I think your story is a very unique one. It being like you've been able to expand and kind of enjoy or experience different parts of the world as a resident, learning the cultures. I think that brings a lot into your experience. I want to congratulate you too on building your business to a 7-figure business. That's something to be congratulated on. And so again, guys, if you're interested in what Plaxy is doing, to learn more about what she's doing with Extension, I'll leave the email address for you to reach out to her, and you can reach out to her and start the conversation. So Plaxy, thank you for coming on board. Thank you for deciding to share your story. I can't wait for the world to read it. I can't wait to read your story inside Reputation Driven, and I know it's going to be awesome. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All righty.